Alright folks, howdy howdy. We are back for another game of Sudoku. It's a very hard puzzle. So let's get started at it, shall we? Okay. Kind of looking at the patterns of the puzzles. Looking for pairs. So very hards. I see there's just a single number here in this row. Okay, alright, okay. Hmm. I'm seeing a pair of fours here, which tells me there has to be a 4 here. This one's in the left, this one's in the right. We're just kind of looking at pairs. Pairs are good. Okay, this 4 follows. See this plus pattern? That is a really good pattern to have. See, this 9 goes through the middle, which tells me there's a 9 here. And this 4 goes through the other direction and tells me there's a 4 this way. Now I have a 4 here, and I have a 4 here, and a 4 here. So we have to have a 4 there. Okay. So we have a 6 here that now goes through this right lane, which tells me this is the only one left for a 6. Now I know that these three numbers have to be what's left for this cube. So I need a 2, a 3, and a 7. Alright, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 7. And this one already has a 7, so it can only be a 2 or 3. Now I know those are locked. So the two numbers that we are missing down here looks like a 5 and an 8. Okay, and that's all they can be, 5 and an 8. 5 and an 8. All right. Now we do have a 2 that goes through the middle. We have a 2 that's out on the outside as a ghost row. Tells me this is a 2. Now we know what these three numbers are to help with this column. We need a 1. Can't have a 1 there, so our 1 goes here. 2, 3, 4. We need a 5, 6, and then we need a 7. Well, we have a 7 here and here, so that tells me this is the only one that can be a 7, which now tells me one of these two is a 5. Now, the cool thing about this is it double locks that there has to be a 5 here, which tells me this can no longer be a 5. There we go. Now that we have these two numbers locked, I can tell you that these two numbers are the 3 and the 9. I do have a 3 here, so that makes that a 9, makes that one a 3. Now we know also the three numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6, can't be in the bottom, so 6. We need a 7. 7 can't be top or bottom, so actually 7, 6. We need an 8, only spot left, 8 and 9. There we go, folks. Now this 9 helps us with the 9 that we had over here. Clean up my pencil marks. Alright, and then anywhere where I've got 2 or 3 spaces, I always like to figure out what those are. See these two, one of them's got to be an 8, but I do have a helpful 8 here. And what's the other number? Looks like a 3, is that right? There we go. Chunk those numbers away. Alright, so in this particular row, we need a 1, and it can't be here, so we got a 1 here and a 1 here. 2, 3, we know the 4 is one of these, and we need a 5. Now the 5 cannot be here, so now we have something called a double lock. These two are the only ones that can be 4 and 5. 4 and 5 cannot go here because you have a 4 here and a 5 here, so that actually makes this a 1. So that tells me the 1 cannot go here. Those two are now locked. We have a 4 and a 5, which means the two numbers that are left is a 1 and a 6 for one of these two for this block. And we have a 6 right there, so there's our 1, and there is our 6. Now that tells us what the last three numbers are here. We got a 1, we got a 2, we need a 3, can't be in the right lane. So we've got a 3, we've got our 4 identified, 5, 6, 7. We need an 8, that can be everywhere. 8, 8, 8, there we go, and our 9. Alright, so those are marked. Now I just saw here in this particular row, I was looking for 1s because I saw these pairs of 1s. And I said, oh, well, with this one, these two can't be a 1. I saw this one, this can't be a 1. So in this particular row, the only place to have a 1 is right there. All right, so that also gives us our 5 there. Now this 5 coming through the middle and this 5 coming down the left just leaves one spot left for the 5. I got 2 numbers missing here, and one is a 2, but 2 cannot go here, so 2 has to go here. What's the other number we're missing? An 8. All right, there goes our 8. Okay, that looks handy dandy. I've got a 1 that goes across the bottom. I've got a 1 that comes down the left. Only spot left for a 1. Let's see what else we have. 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so in this middle row, I need an 8 that cannot go here. So we'll put an 8 here or here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6 that cannot be in this outer one, which only spot left for a 6. There's our 8, and the only number we're missing here is a 9. Now we do have an 8 here, so I'm going to clean up my pencil mark. Pencil mark. All right, now this 3 and 4 is also going to get mirrored up here. You can see those are now double locked. One is a 3, one is a 4. Very good. I only got one number missing here. Looks like a 9. All right, now I've got 3 numbers here. 1, 2. I need a 3. Can't be in the middle. So 3 goes out here. 4, 5 can go everywhere. 5, 5, 5. I need a 6, and 6 has to go in the middle because I have one on the right and one on the left. Okay, so those are locked in. All right, now that we've got these bottoms, let's come up here and let's look for some pairs up here, shall we? We've got a 1, we need a 2, cannot be right or center. So my 2 has to be over here. And I do have a 2 right and left. So my 2 has to be here. I'm just going to mark those at the same time while we're at it. Okay, this one here is probably going to mirror this 4 and 5. 4 and 5. All right, let's see. I need a 3. 3 can be anywhere. Let me not mark that just yet. Okay, 4 in the right lane. So 4 can go anywhere over here. 5 can go all over the place. 6, 7. Okay, so I've got a middle and a left. I know I said those backwards. My brain sometimes will go backwards on them. Okay, cool. Now I have a 9, a 9, and a 9. So these 7s and 9s are now locked. Okay, 7s and 9s are locked. I like that. These two cannot be anything else. They are completely locked down. Cannot be any other option. So that tells me this one has to be locked with this 3 and 5 because it's the only choices. So 3 and 5. Okay, so what was the other numbers? I think there was like a 5 that I wasn't marking. I got my 1, got my 2's marked. Now I didn't mark the 3's because it can be here. Okay, and so it could be one of these guys, but it can't be in the middle, and it can't be these two because they're double locked now. Okay, my 4's. I have a 4 on the right side, so any of these could be 4. Let's see, my 5 goes through the middle, and this one still could be 5, right? Okay, there's my 5, 6's, 7's, 8's, 9's. Okay, so that one's got a lot of junk numbers on it. Okay, let's come over here to the right and let's see what we're doing here. We've got our 1, we've got our 2 identified. It's got to be one of these 2. What about 3's here? 3. I have a 3 that goes up the right side, so it could be top. Oop, I erased a 2 by accident there. Put that back. All right, and then I've got a 4 through the middle and a 4 through the bottom. Okay, 5's can only be out here. 6, 7, some 8's. Okay, my 8's have to be down here. I have a middle and a a top and a left. Okay, and then I need my nines, which, okay, cool. So you see how the 4 is up here? I have a 4. Oh, no, darn it, I thought I could lock those. Okay, but there's my nines. All right, okay, now let me look at this for just a moment. Now this is the typical where I get stuck. And when I get stuck, I usually have to pull out a piece of a paper and a pen, and I have to try a couple things because my brain has a hard time grabbing the right number. Okay, so let me look first to see if I can find a pattern. That's what I'm hoping for, folks. This is where I get stuck, and I'm trying to get my brain to. This is where in the hards and the very hards, there is a particular pattern. See, so like you've got this 4 and 5 and this 4 and 5, but see how it's going to come over here and help with this 4 and 5 and this 3 and 5? So I have to be careful. See, there's like a pattern here that I have a hard time finding. And so sometimes what I end up doing is I end up guessing a number on paper, and this would be a great time you could print the puzzle off a couple times and try a couple different ways. And then I try, and usually when I try it, I find out where the flaw is, and then I try to focus on that flaw and see if I can find it the next time. Let's see. Do you guys see it? Got a pair of nines, fives, eights, 3 and 5, 2 and 3, sevens. Okay, so, and see this one right here too gets me a little bit because I've got to have a 3 and a 4 here. And I don't know, if these will mess up because these are just onesies. I could mess those up. So this is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to put this one here as a 3. Okay, so as a 3. And I'm going to see how that cascades through. So if this one is a 3, then the one next to it's an 8, and then it's a 4. Okay, so now if that one's a 3, that's a 4. Okay, and if that is an 8, then these are 2s and 3s. Okay, if that's a 4, then that's a 9. 2, 3, 2, 3. And if that's a 9 and a 4, then that has to be a 5. Then that has to be an 8. Okay, so if that's an 8, a 2 and a 3 and a 2 and a 3. Okay, so that forces that, because I got a 2 and a 3 and a 2 and a 3, to be a 5. And with that one being a 5, that has to be a 3, that has to be a 5. So that has to be a 4, and that has to be a 5. Okay, and that has to be a 4. So I break it. So that doesn't work, because if this is a 4, I started here with this being a 3. If this is a 3, that makes this a 4. That makes this a 4 and this an 8. So if this is a 4, this is a 9, and then with a 4 and a 9, this is a 5. So these two right there, okay, right there is a perfect example. So if this is a 3, that makes this a 4, and it makes this a 9. If this is a 4 and a 9, that makes this a 5. So if this is a 4 and a 5, I can't have a 4 or a 5 here. So that is the pattern that I'm still having a hard time catching. I've got to jot down a couple numbers. But that right there, this 4 and 5 and this 4 and 5, if this one is a 3, makes this a 4 and this a 5, which makes this not work. So that means that this cannot be a 3 or the puzzle will fail. So that makes it a 4. Okay, and then there's a 3, which now I'm just going to cascade these and they should just tumble. So I've got a 2 and a 3 already, so there's my 8. I've got an 8, there's my 5. Okay, so I've got my 8, so that makes this one a 3. I've got my 4, makes this one an 8. Now I've got my 5, so that makes this one a 3. Got my 3, that makes this one a 2. Okay, alright, this one is my 3, so this one's my 5, this one's my 5, so this one's my 3. Now this is where I have to be careful to, to get my pencil marks not screwed up. So let me do a little bit of cleanup. Alright, so now in this cube, I can't have a 2 through the middle, the right, or the center. So this is actually the only spot left for a 2. Okay, now I've got my 3 here, so that makes this one a 4. Got my 4 here, so that makes this one a 5, makes this one a 4, makes this one a 5. Alright, now I've got a 3 here, so that makes this one our 7, makes this one our 3. Now with that 7, that one's our 9, that one's our 7. Alright, now if this is a 5 and a 9, then this one becomes our 4, and the only number left is a 9. There we go, folks. Very hard puzzles and hard puzzles. For me, I cannot do it without doing a lot of good pencil marks and being very careful not to um, step over myself, make sure I erase them and keep them clean, and using all of those standard techniques of double eliminations, ghost rows. There's also a crisscross pattern that's in the hards and the very hards. I haven't seen those in a couple of these lately. Crisscross patterns are very important. We had one a couple days ago that was a really good example of that, and I've seen them where they're double crisscross patterns, which that's even kind of a little more exciting when it uses layers on layers to get to a number. But there you are, folks. I hope you had some fun watching. I always suggest pausing at the beginning before we play and print you off a couple copies or jot them down on a notepad and play along and have some fun. I appreciate you guys watching. Please feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or challenges. I would enjoy them all. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Catch you next time.